We're live. Good evening, guys. Good evening, Sky. Good evening,
Hey.
Earl.
Good
Welcome,
evening.
welcome to the Poly Pips with Sky and me too.
Yes, we are here in the building.
Happy Labor Day.
Oh yes,
Absolutely.
It
the
is the
celebration of
holiday.
the celebration of working.
Yes, yes. I just saw him
Not a
in
celebration.
literally. I
That's
just
not a
saw,
celebration.
yeah, I just saw somebody write, you gotta be a bold motherfucker to celebrate Labor Day when you don't have a job. I was like, oh.
That is hilarious.
But yeah, it is definitely not usual for us to have our podcast on a Monday night, but
Monday.
life has been lifing, right?
That part.
And
That's what
we,
happens.
yes, we still want to do what we do. And since tonight is a holiday, so we're like, oh, let's have a little fun. I got my little beverage here, adult refreshment.
Oh man,
Oh,
Yes, you guys
I
don't
I
have
am
anything?
I am drinking black cherry sparkling water.
Okay.
that seems so responsible.
Yes,
Very. Mm.
Well,
I was told I have no vices, so I'm okay with that.
maybe that's the vice.
That that is the vice.
Yes.
That is the vice.
Yes. So yeah, I am excited. So what are we talking about tonight, Sky?
Tonight we are I don't really think there's an answer, but we're going to delve into the question about I think it's more about where poly people what their intentions are with this whole poly thing. And a lot of people, especially the monogamous folks out here, they always tend to think that polyamorous people are just like orgy city. Oh, you must be a freak, blah blah blah. And that might be the case for some
Right.
people, but I definitely think there's way more to. I know there's way more to it.
Right.
And we have Earl, my friend Earl here, representing Savannah.
That's me.
Ah, you are in Savannah.
Yes.
That is so
So
cool.
You know, man, I have to be from a southern state with a name like Earl. Okay. So,
That's true.
so I think that what we're here to talk about today is really like we talked about how people do poly. Remember like some of our conversations and how to make it work and what things
Hmm.
work and what things don't. But I think this is more of like the why question. Like
Right.
why is polyamory a thing? And I mean, I have lots of thoughts about it. So,
Well, let's have Earl introduce himself. Tell us,
yes.
tell the audience about himself a little bit. If he's polyamorous, how he came about it, and all that stuff.
Yep.
okay.
We want to
Well,
hear the juicy stuff,
help
Earl.
me out a little bit, because this is my first time here, so I want you all to excuse my amateurism here. But so how many people are in the room right now?
So, it's growing.
Let's see.
It's just a few people right now.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Um, So, I think like most people, I started out what I would like to term is socially monogamous, right? I was monogamous because that's what I understood when you're in a relationship. That's what you're supposed to be. But I definitely never practiced that 100% because, I would always have like a lady on the side. And so um, as I got older and I realized that the way I went about doing relationships and being a player and not being honest, I realized that was not the best approach. So after some failed relationships, I just kind of migrated into some things. Looked at swinging, and then I kind of realized swinging wasn't really for me because that was random connections, and it just wasn't my thing. And then that's kind of so I probably did that about 2 or 3 years, going to parties and just being having that kind of curiosity. And then poly made more sense. I went from swinging and going to the large parties to parties getting smaller and smaller and smaller to just small groups. And that's when I realized poly made more sense. I wanted more of a connection, wanted to know who my partner was, but I knew that monogamy was not my thing. So in finding poly, I realized that poly was a thing that made more sense. You're being honest. You have uh, more than one romantic relationship, and you're being honest about it. So everything's above board. So that just felt, as they say now, ethically the right thing to do. So that's kind of my journey. And I'd say I've been, I don't know if it's in the lifestyle or what, but for about the past 15 years.
Okay.
Nice.
That's a long time.
You're a pro.
Time flies.
Yes.
You're
Yes.
You're a pro.
Yes.
So
Okay.
what about you, Mitu?
Um.
For the new people who have never seen us before, tell
Oh.
tell your story.
I was like, oh, like I thought everybody knew me, but apparently not. Yes. Because we're gonna have new viewers. Hopefully they
All the
went
time.
and watched our previous episodes, and you guys can find them on our YouTube channels
The
and
Poly Pimps.
yes, the Poly Pimps. But I mean, for me, I was monogamously married for 10 years. I mean, obviously before that, it was you just fell into monogamy because that's what you're taught. But about 5 years ago, um, divorce process started, and I knew from that point on, I didn't want to live as a monogamous person anymore. And that's where my journey started as a polyamorous. But I've always been a polyamorous at heart. Just didn't really know what the term was. The kind of support, the terminologies, all the goodies that I found once I dove into I don't want to say into the lifestyle, but once I started going that direction, um, realizing, oh my God, there's a whole community and whole support. So here I am 5 years later. Time does fly because it feels like it was just yesterday. I was like, all right, this is it. I am not going backwards. So, and now we're talking about it online openly. So,
And I love that, right? Being able to stand in your truth and
yes.
being very vocal about it.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. For me, oh hey Naime, how you doing? So for me, I have always been polyamorous, same like me too. I didn't know it was a word, I didn't know it was a thing, but I didn't even know this until I saw like my first boyfriend like from high school, and he was telling me how I was telling him about open relationships back in 12th grade. And I was like, oh, I was all about this for a long time.
Yeah.
And I have forgotten because, like you said, I was socially monogamous, and that's what society teaches us. And, here's the thing. I think that partnership is a real cool thing. I think it's really important. I think that children need some sort of stability. So I do believe in that aspect of it, in terms of when you're involved with somebody. I have seen the failure of the monogamous family. If y'all hear gunshots, it's because I live in the hood, unless that's fireworks. I don't know what's going on tonight. I don't know.
We're going to default to their fireworks.
Yes. Because I'm like, yeah, that cannot be.
Gunshots. We're going to be like, maybe you need to get down.
It sounded loud. Okay. Duck, everybody, if I start dropping on the ground. But anyway, so for me, a lot of stuff got to be logical. That's pretty much the way I live my life. And I've just seen the failure of monogamy over and over, and it's just obliterated into like a culture of just a failed system, right? And people die for a monogamous situation, and folks who are in it are mediocrely happy. They like, yeah, I got a husband, we've been married for 20 years. And then some people who are single are going to be single, stay single. They're not going to have that partner that they have that checklist. I know people who have that checklist, and they're not going to find that person, right? And then there's the people who do end up having a partner, and hey, it's not an absolute thing, right? But I just see like that society is teaching us to settle for one person and hopefully make that work. And if it doesn't work, end it and start all over again, right? One of my favorite teachers of polyamory is definitely Kenya K. Stevens. I love her wild self, and I love the fact that she has really done the work on writing about it. She's done the work on living it with her family. And I really appreciate that, sometimes you got to really be different to live differently and to think differently. And I'm not saying polyamory is perfect. It's been very difficult to me for many reasons, but I really think that this is the way I think. This is the way I look at love. I don't look at love as like, oh my God, my one, like the whole Disneyland thing. That's not real to me. But we could get into it. So.
All right. So I guess we're going to dive into our topic tonight. Addicted to sex
Hello,
or
Godly
addicted to
Zoe.
love? Hello.
Godly Zoe or Zoe.
What's up?
y'all?
That's Zoe. Zoe.
Is Zoe?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Zoe.
So that's a way to call Haitians in Miami. That's that's kind of like the way they refer to Haitians. The
What?
Zoes.
Zoe?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Representing Haiti.
Yeah.
So
hey, what's up? What's up?
Big up in the Haitian hottie.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So hello, long dreads. So question, Earl. What's your status right now? Let's get into it.
Great question. I would have to say, I probably say solo poly. I don't have a dedicated partner. I have ladies that I date. But actually, I would probably say so. One lady has a fiance, and the other lady has a boyfriend. So it is kind of more of a polyandrous relationship, I guess.
Polyandrous?
Yeah, because they're already in other relationships.
That's still polyamory.
Yeah. So
yeah.
I guess I'm solo in that regard. I don't have a dedicated partner.
Okay. And what's your end goal? If you have an end goal.
I think it is to have. I think for me, a comfortable number is 2 partners, and I think more than 2, it's like probably too much for me.
Okay.
So I think 2 consistent partners where everything. I like the idea of kitchen table poly, where everything is above board. We're communicating, and I might screw this term up. The metas.
Metamorphs, yeah.
Yeah, they're
partners,
cordial. They're cordial.
The partners know each other.
Cool. Yeah, the partners know each other exactly.
And they can
have. That would be a good goal for me. Yeah.
They can have other partners.
Right.
Do you want to live with anybody?
I'm open to it because I've been living alone since forever. But I'm open to it, and I think part of being open to it is getting my mind right for that. When you've been living alone, you're used to just having your own space. But I think if things move in that direction, then I understand that I have a responsibility to get myself right before I do something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you open to dating new people, just in case there's anyone watching?
Mm-hmm. No, I'm definitely open. I think the idea of a relationship that I have, I'll say one thing I've noticed about me. I think inside beauty is more attractive than outside beauty for me. Mm-hmm. So it has to be that connection. I need character, somebody that I know my personality. I'm all about positivity, optimistic about everything, and I probably need somebody to reflect that same kind of energy, right? Mm-hmm. So inner beauty is important to me. Mm-hmm. Optimism, those kind of things matter. So yeah, I'm definitely open. And I think the kind of connections I have right now, I think they would be receptive to that.
Good. Yeah, that you're already involved in?
Correct. Yeah, I think they'd be receptive.
Nice. I like that. So what do you think? Do you think that folks are more addicted? Do you think people are actually addicted to love or addicted to sex? Do you think that that's a thing? Well, I know addiction is a real thing, so I do know that part. But I'm saying in regards to polyamory.
I think it's a good question. So I will tell you, I'm at this point now where I had to reframe my own thinking in this regard, right? So because I know that I'm poly-minded, I do kind of look at people who are monogamous minded. I look at them as others. I'm like, how do you even think that way? How does that even work, right? But I think I had to fix my own thinking.
Right.
They're different love styles, and I think I should be more receptive to their love style, right? As opposed to being critical of it. And at the same time, they need to be receptive to mine, right? So we probably could have a conversation without being critical of the way people decide to love. So in that regard, as you kind of alluded to before, you can have a sex addict who practices monogamy, and you can have a sex addict who practices polygamy, right? I mean, so to me, and then I think the other thing about a sex addict, it probably has to be formally diagnosed, because you may have, like, you might be with a partner who really turns you on in a way that you were not turned on previously. So your libido is up. You may be with somebody who doesn't stimulate you in that same way, so your libido's not in the same way. So I think to answer your question, and I did tell you I used to be in the swing world before, and I mentioned this to you too before. I do believe that swinging has more of a sexual focus.
Yeah.
I'm going to a party, I'm going to get it in, and there's not a need or concern for me to know what your real name is. Don't contact me afterwards. Any of that thing. It's just a connection at that moment. But I think with poly, it is with the intention of a relationship.
Yes.
And so it's about the whole person. It's not just sexually focused. It's about getting to know who your partner is.
I definitely think that has been the hardest for me to navigate in terms of meeting people out here. Hence, you really just want to meet poly people, but then you can meet a lot of poly people, but they got a lot of different things in being poly of what they desire. And in poly folks, I see there are a lot of poly people who really are here for sexual variety. There are, whether they're married or just solo poly or what have you, there are a lot of poly people who really just want to have multiple partners. They have different desires and freak sessions and, different things like that. The ones that I look for are the ones that really are trying to develop like meaningful, committed relationships. And the percentage is so small. It's really difficult.
On that note, Sky, I will tell you, there's something that I'm a little bit preoccupied with. And it's about my, when I think about, what do you call it? Saturation. Right. And so maybe
tell us what saturation is, because folks out here might not know.
Right. And so saturation is kind of, as I mentioned before, when I think about how many relationships can I effectively maintain at a time? And I know for me, considering everything else I have going on in my life, I feel like I can maintain 2 relationships effectively. That's kind of my saturation point. And well, 3 would be the most. Like, I'm really stretched out at 3. Now I've probably, I'm putting too much of my time into these relationships.
Right.
That's my saturation point.
Because you still have you.
Right. That's right. Exactly. And so, I think if I'm looking at somebody with some serious intention, I think they're probably thinking about that same thing too. Because if they don't, it's just like you said, it's just a field day. You're just replacing it until.
Exactly. What about you, Mitu?
Honestly, I don't know what my saturation level is at this point. But to get to the subject for discussion, I think it could be both, and there's space for both. Because when you look at a very sexual person, highly sexual person, somebody who enjoys sex in general, I can't say that you'd be addicted to sex necessarily, but I enjoy having different connections. And for me, they don't have to be all romantic. I
Okay.
can exist with just sexual partners. Now, people think, oh, just because they're sexual partners, so there's like absolutely zero connection. No, that's not basically what it is for me. It's more like, somebody that I definitely have a rapport with, right? We are connected because I don't think I can do that whole random person
Mm-hmm.
because that's one thing. A couple of times I joined a couple of swingers groups, right? Just to see what it's about. And I just could never connect to anybody, not in the group. I can't even engage with the conversations they were having. It just wasn't my thing. Because for me, I need that basic connection first. I can just go to a party and just see this random person and we're like, hey, let's have fun and call it a day. I have not gotten, I don't know in the future, but I have not gotten to that point. So I always need like a conversation. Let me see if you're dumb first before I let you in my space.
Mm-hmm.
Because for me, I think also what I think about is in a swinger space, right? Some people may have access to you that you would have never allowed in the
Mm.
real world. And I would not be happy with myself if I, and I'm not saying you never make mistakes in, with people's characters or anything like that. It's just, I can't knowingly do it. Um, So I never got around to the swinging part, but I enjoy connecting with people and, you develop some kind of relationship when you think about it, but it's just on a sexual basis and it's perfectly fine. We're not looking to get married, we're not looking to develop that kind of partnership necessarily, but we're good. Maybe some people will call it friends with benefits. I mean, you have all kinds of names out there for it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then, of course, there's the part where I love love. I want to have partners to love on me and make me feel special. I make them feel special. They make me feel like a high school girl. Like, I just feel all kinds of stuff when I see them or think of them, talk to them, and all that stuff. When I think about a relationship with them, I want to commit myself to them and I want them to do the same. So I want that part as well. So for me, I don't want to limit my sexual experiences just to my partners because you can have great experiences with other people that are not necessarily your romantic partners.
Mm-hmm.
Let me
So,
ask this question because I think that's a very good point.
hmm,
The whole concept of comets and satellites,
yeah,
right?
I love that.
And so, and just for the audience, and everybody may know it, I don't like to be redundant, but a satellite is more of a comet, just like a comet. It comes around every so often. It might be somebody that you see every few years,
Whenever.
but you have a great,
once a year, a couple times a year.
yeah. So but if
Every.
somebody you have a great rapport with, y'all have good chemistry, but
Yes,
there's not a requirement to have the same frequency you would with a partner.
right,
And a satellite is somebody you see with greater frequency, but they're not at the level of a partner. A partner, you're planning on doing things together. You're going out. You're doing things like a relationship.
you're
The reason
planning stuff
satellite,
together.
it just may be we're getting together tonight, and it's an understood thing.
Right,
And so I think even with partners, it would be okay having satellites as long as it's communicated.
absolutely. I have comments,
Hmm.
and it's great, when you finally get together, it's a great time. But so for me with my comments too, it's more like we still communicate in between that seeing each other. It's not like, oh,
Right.
you gone and then we don't hear from each other again until it's that time to meet again. No, this is somebody that so technically you consider it a relationship because you still keep in touch, you talk and share things. I'm not saying like every day you talk to this person, but this is somebody you just keep in touch with and stuff like that. Um, I love those because it's still a good way to have a good partnership, if we would call it that, but not, it's not like, it doesn't come with all the, I guess, I don't want to call it obligations,
Right.
but all the stuff that a partnership comes with.
And that's fine.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine. So, I guess the big part is, when it comes to creating your, super poly life, it has to just work for you,
Exactly.
I think one of the things that's a little difficult is what you said, like kitchen table, getting the right partners to be able to be in the room together and just be a part of. Do you find that to be a thing, Earl?
I don't know. I don't have practice with that. It's more the concept for
15
me.
years?
Yeah. No.
15
Well,
years?
yeah. No, I don't have. I mean, me, I've been the person, I've been the additional as part of a relationship.
Okay, so
Okay.
you have a partner who's married, you said?
Right. One is engaged and the other one has a boyfriend.
So, and have you met their partners?
I communicate with them. So, and it's just usually brief on the phone. If I'm going out with her, they know about it. We talk, hey brother, what's good, and that kind of thing. So it's not. So we're definitely cordial. I would say that.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. I mean,
But
Yeah.
too,
Because I want to
now,
make sure everybody's cool, right? So
yeah, you don't want no
absolutely.
I
problems.
don't want the boyfriend back home stewing and any of that crazy stuff. I want to
Yeah,
make sure everybody's
energy.
Exactly. Now there's also the term garden party.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm going to have to refresh my memory on that one.
So garden party apparently is kind of like, okay, let's say you and your metas, you only meet every so often, like at holidays, or you're in the same space, but you don't necessarily communicate outside of those times. So it's like semi kitchen, you
Gotcha.
know.
Yeah,
Uh,
kitchen is like really involved. Like everyone is in there, they're there, they're coming over, the partners are, that's like that wouldn't be I wouldn't be that wouldn't be
So
ideal.
maybe I'm thinking more of a garden party than I'm thinking
Yes.
of.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
because
you know each other and you can like
Right.
walk
cross
by
paths
and
and it's okay.
you could high five and keep it moving, you know what I
Right.
mean?
Right. And
But
everybody's cool.
Yeah,
but
I just
kitchen
started thinking
table is
about it.
like,
I feel like I've had all of them. Like I've had parallel, and also have, I don't want to say kitchen table because we don't live together. We don't necessarily have things together that we have to communicate, but we're cool with just everybody sitting at the table. And I've also had garden parties to where, every so often people meet and it's cool. Like, so my last backyard show, um, I had all three partners there. Two of them, one of them was with his wife, the other one was with another partner. So it was pretty cool. They didn't necessarily hang out like that, but everybody just kind of say hey to each other, talk
was in the
briefly.
space.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they everybody shared the space, and it was beautiful. It was just, that's my life. That's the life I want.
I too have had the backyard party and had everyone there and stuff like that. And it was cool. All my girlfriends were like, what?
Yeah, it
How
was.
in the hell does this
So,
work?
Mhm.
yeah,
How are we
so
doing this?
yeah, it was pretty cool. We have a comment here. Raheem. Hey Raheem. He said, let's see. No addictions at all. I love sex and I love love. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's just my thinking as well. I'm okay with just having what I want sexually and then still have the other part.
So here's a thought. Um, you're in a relationship for a long time with
Mm-hmm.
someone, and
Mm-hmm.
then the sex kind of goes dry or what
Mm-hmm.
have you, or maybe y'all are too busy, maybe work, maybe you're too tired, maybe
Right.
isn't that a good opportunity if time allows to have another partner who is a little bit more spectacular?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And honestly, I don't I don't understand why people think sex is gonna stay 100 all the time just because you're in a partnership, just because you're in love with this person. It's just sometimes life happens, right? The person may have some stuff that they're going through personally, nothing to do with you, and they're not there, they're not present. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, you're gonna force this person to be sexual with you just because you need it? I don't think it's fair. So it's also great to have either other partners or other, sexual interests that could fulfill your needs. um like, just because we love each other, just because we're in love, doesn't mean sex is always going to be exciting. Because let's face it, once you settle in a routine, things kind of mellow out. I'm not saying it's not good, but it's not going to be like me dancing and grinding on you every single time. That's just not going to be it. Sometimes it's just enough time to just like scoot over, and then that's it. you
Right.
know it's not going to be a whole session sometimes, but you just need something quickly. I mean, there are things I think we need to stop pretending or even thinking that that's the only way um, to be sexual. Sex will die down for one person, sometimes both at the same time, and that's okay. But the only time I feel like it's not okay is like when your partner is telling you, well, I understand I cannot or I'm not there sexually, but I really would prefer that you don't have sex with other people. And it's like, what book did you read that in? So, you know?
And that would
So,
be the only challenge with that, right? Like the
Yes.
beautiful thing about poly is you're able to construct a relationship that works for you.
yeah.
The unfortunate thing is, feelings are involved, right? So now you're taking the partner's feelings into consideration, and I may want to add, but it's
That
like
that
you
makes
see
it,
their feeling away about
well,
it.
that's the part that's the part that our society has, dealing with someone's feelings and emotions. That's a real thing, right?
Yeah.
But what the problem is, people overlook their own feelings and emotions to satisfy other people's feelings and
Mm.
emotions.
Yes.
So you are tiptoeing around your own wants and needs and desires to appease other people. This is monogamy, I think. And maybe even in polyamory. I don't
I
know.
don't think it's just monogamy. I think
Yeah,
it's,
I thought about it. I was like, maybe
Well,
but people like appease other people and just don't be
mhm,
honest with where they are. You know what I
right.
mean?
but
Like,
there
right.
may be something to be said about this, right? Because jealousy is a valid emotion. I may not necessarily agree with it, but
Yes.
it's a valid emotion, right? Like I would prefer the partner who has compersions. Like, listen, you're happy, I'm happy. That's great.
Yes.
It's ideal. But if my partner is truly jealous, and this is what we talked about before with respect,
Hmm.
I could say, listen, you need to handle that. And I go on about doing what I want to do. Or I could say, I need to stop and acknowledge what my partner's feeling right now. And maybe
Right.
it's not beneficial overall for
Right.
me to go ask someone else. Let me slow things down and let's regroup. So I do think that as much as I probably wouldn't be a fan of it, I probably need to slow down and address what's going on and pay attention to what my partner is saying.
Absolutely. You have
However,
to.
well, I think you have to, of course, if you want them to be around and
Right.
and work it out. But my thought about it also is, what if you are constantly navigating a situation where you have to tiptoe around a partner who claims they're poly, wants you to be about that life, wants you to go out and enjoy yourself, but
Mm,
they call you when you're on a date.
mm,
They text
Right.
you while you're on a date. Oh, my car needs air in my
right.
tire. You know what I mean? Or they ask, like, after you come back from a date, what'd you do? What was happening? What happened? What happened? What did you sleep with her? Like all these things. And it's like, do you really want to know? Or am I feeding your shit that I gotta, you know what I'm saying, swim through? So yeah.
I like that, but let me. would that be especially if it becomes an issue over time and it's consistent, would that be a
A
means to
no.
kind of
It'd be a
reassess
no.
the relationship, right?
Yes,
Because this may not be for you.
Right.
exactly.
Right.
And um, sorry, I just lost my thought. Carry on.
It would
Well, no, we're
be,
talking about
to me, it
just
would be
I'm
a
getting
no.
reassessing.
older. Sorry, I'm gonna get back to it. I'm trying to think. Like,
You
when
were the
was I
baby
last
of the
to
group.
say?
What are you talking about?
Vitamin,
No,
vitamin,
we're gonna blame it on the alcohol. Okay?
vitamin G.
Yes.
So I think when people do that, I feel like they're really not. I'm not going to say they're not ready. I'm just going to say they need to do more work. You know what I mean?
Right.
And to
Absolutely.
me, good, like there's poly people. I met poly people who got poly off of like YouTube, like right here, or they looked at all the videos, or they join a Facebook group, right? But to me, good poly people read books, okay?
Mm.
Because the people who write books put like studies and
There's
they
good
do work,
knowledge there.
and if not read books, do like some courses like Kenya K. Stevens. They have poly courses where they like learn how to do a relationship properly, communicate, work through jealousy, work through time. Time is the biggest issue with everything. Saturation is not based on how many people you can really handle.
Right.
It's based
That's
on how
right.
much time do
Your
we have.
capacity.
Absolutely. That's right.
Yeah, it's like,
Capacity.
okay, first of all, I got to work 50 hours a week. Then I got to drive through traffic in Atlanta. That's also half my life. And I got to sleep and eat. So that right there has no room for anybody else. That's
Right.
just me living.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have to say, okay, well, this is how much, and then I have children. So this is how much time I have left to date 9 people. Okay. It's not going to happen. You know what I
Right.
mean? They're going to fall off. They're going to find someone who has more time. So when you really look at how many partners you can actually have, it's really how much time do you have to invest in the multitude.
Yeah.
So
And so this morning I was having
I
a
love it.
conversation. Yeah. I was having a conversation with one of my partners, and I was just talking about, growth. Basically, the person I was 10 years ago, I am proud of the person I am today, but back then I used to think that, I was pretty mature, and I was, but even more wisdom now, and I am grateful for all the work that I've done. But what specifically we were talking about is the way I handled jealousy then and now.
Mm.
10 years ago, if a boyfriend husband was jealous, it was a direct attack to my character, right? I would get mad because at that point, to me, you're accusing me of something, right? Because you're jealous because this person likes me, this person looked at me a certain way, even though I may not have anything to do with the person. Sometimes I don't even see somebody looking at me, right? But because you're jealous, all of a sudden it's like, why are you attacking me? I took it as an attack, right? As opposed to now, I can sit down with a partner and talk about jealousy, like talk
Hmm.
about jealous feelings. Hey, this is what I felt. And we can just talk about it. Why did you feel that way? And, um, you know, so I can calmly talk about and also reassure my partner, but also the people that I dealt with back then, they were as unhealthy as I was in that
Hmm.
jealous box, right? Because when they were jealous, I mean, it was definitely an attack on me. So I wasn't just making it up. It's just they didn't know how to approach that feeling. So in turn, they kind of come at you like, oh, it's your fault that this person looked at you this way because you did this or you dressed this way. That's why they looked at you a certain way. So then that's why I felt it was also an attack. But now when somebody's talking to me about how they felt, and it's never shouting, it's just
hmm,
let's have a conversation. So I am more willing to listen and hear you out, and then also reassure you when I need to let you know that, hey, if you felt this way because of a lack from me, then I am willing to work on that, and so you don't feel that way. Although we're all responsible for our feelings, but sometimes we can trigger feelings in other people. So the way that I approach jealous feelings now is
Mm.
definitely different. And people think because you're poly, all of a sudden you're not human anymore. There are certain feelings you're never gonna have. There are certain things you're never gonna experience. I'm like, where did you find that at? We just have different ways of dealing with them, healthier ways, better tools to approach those kind of feelings, but we still feel jealous. We still feel certain things. It's just we understand them better.
Mm.
Agreed. I also think that I'm trying to think of any situation where someone has felt jealous with me. And to be honest, I don't even receive.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
like I'm like you.
I don't receive
Hello,
jealous
Demetrius.
conversation or behavior. It is like pass me straight because that's a you thing. You know what I mean? Like you feeling jealous, you need to go work on you. Go and have a conversation with yourself in the mirror because I'm not here for that. You know what I mean? That is your own
You know,
thing
and
going on because I'm here. So I'm telling you what the hell is going on. You know what time it is. You know where I'm going. You know what's happening. You don't. I mean, feel how you feel, but work on you. Like I'm not. I'm not gonna. And I'm not gonna entertain. I don't entertain it. Number one. Number two. I have had jealous feelings on my like to someone else, of course, many times. And like you said, I'm human and I have these feelings. But what I do appreciate about polyamory is polyamorous people realize that we're humans and we do have jealous feelings about many things, right? Anything, someone you're romantically involved with, people at work who are getting raises, you know what I'm saying? There's all kinds of ways to feel jealous about stuff. People, some girl who looks good and she got like a flat stomach, you know.
Hey,
oh, look at me
D.
take notes over here. Look at this.
That's more envy than jealousy.
Okay, so I get that. In regards to jealousy, I have had moments where I feel within the polyamory lifestyle jealousy, and I don't. No one would know. My
Mhm.
behavior doesn't change. Like I
Right.
feel like that's me being like working on myself and like being like no one's. I'm still gonna be cool. I'm still gonna be like my communication doesn't change. Nothing changes. No one would know. And then later on, I might have a conversation with a girlfriend and be like, "Oh my god, I had a jealous moment. I have to woosah," but no one knew. I played it off, and it was all cool. But I was in my feelings, and I felt good that I was able to maneuver in a way where, when you see people acting jealous, it is not a good look. Anyone who ever has a jealous outbreak or outrage, you look so horrible and so small-minded. I can tell you one example. When I was in Baltimore and I had a restaurant, and this a girl I know who came in, she came in all the time. She came in with a guy, right? And this guy looked at me, and I guess he was enamored, obviously, right, with her being there. And he was like, and she's like, "Hey, this is Sky." And he was like, "Hey," like he did like an over, like check me out type of kind of thing, which I thought was inappropriate if he came with her. And obviously they had a thing, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
She took her drink and threw it on him. I
Oh
got
my
wet,
God.
he got wet, and everyone there got wet and ice
Mm.
all over us because she just immediately blew up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't believe they actually didn't walk out the building. They actually stood. He was like, "What the hell are you doing that for?" And I was so embarrassed, really, for the situation and really for how she behaved. I just walked away and went in the back and hid until they left because I was like, this is a mess. How could you feel this way about someone who did that I don't know. It just is never a good look. Jealousy is not like to me, it's not to be shown, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like showing that your jealousy makes you look so out of control. I just,
Because a lot of times it brings angry feelings too. There are angry feelings that come with it.
it's
And you
never a good
can't,
look.
yeah, you can't like act on those.
Yeah.
Well, and I think the worst thing though is if that partner is repressing their jealous feelings, right? Like I don't want to bring it up because I know you're going to get upset, so then they repress it.
Hmm.
But I'm a Virgo, and one thing that Virgos do, we're analytical about everything, right? So, but you guys said something that made me think. I'm like, let me take notes so before I forget this. But I do think that when I think about a jealous partner, and I'm really engaging, and I'm really trying to listen to understand, I have heard in situations where it's like they feel like they're not getting the same amount of time that you may be putting into another partner, right? Which is
Hmm.
which could be fair, right? So
Right.
this that could be constructive criticism. I need to relook what I'm doing in terms of how I'm spending my time.
Hmm.
I
But
think another one could be new relationship energy, right? So you were
yes.
excited about someone else,
Hmm.
and then they start getting in their feelings like, oh, you didn't do this for me, but you're doing all this stuff for her. And
Hmm.
so, I can
And
see where,
that right there, that's gonna be a no. Like I'll be like, I don't even want to hear that. Like I don't want anyone to say that to me.
Right.
That's that kind of conversation. That's what I don't receive. Don't,
the new
there's no
relationship
comparison.
energy.
Huh?
What's that? You talking about the comparison?
Yeah, if someone says, "Oh, you did this for someone and you didn't do this for me,"
Right.
gone.
I
I don't
agree
want to hear that.
and actually what my response to that usually is, I've got to get to understand you and your needs, and I need to understand
Exactly.
her and her needs. This was not a need for you, so why is this a need for you now, right?
Exactly.
And also the whole comparison thing is every relationship is its own island. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Exactly. Everything is
And
different.
the way we do and where we go and what we do and how we do is not
How we
a
move is
it's
different.
it's not a thing. Like except for those folks who are like in this like let's create a tribe and live in a house together, except for those people who want to like have a thruple together or couple or quad or however they do it, except for that group of,
All
that's
good.
you.
I think I like I say, I'm all about whatever love style works for you. I think it's great.
No, I'm okay. No, I'm okay with all that too. Whatever is groovy. But what I'm saying is, except for folks who really like, because most of what I see out here with poly people are multiple individual relationships. They're all couples.
Hmm.
They're two people going out, two people being involved. They're all twos, it's not threes. It's two people involved with each other, even
Hmm.
though this person might be with this person over here, this person over, you know what I mean? Like it
Right.
could be however it is, but it's still just a couple. And each relationship is its own island.
Right.
So
Yeah.
what
And Earl, you mentioned earlier, like time, with partner. Again, it's the comparison thing. But so, a simple example. I
Hmm.
have a partner. We're very close, and then he has a partner. Now he sees that other partner a lot more because it's more convenient, right? They
Right.
live just within minutes of each other. I live a whole hour away.
mhm.
Can I really go complain to this person? Oh, you're giving more time to this
Sounds
other
crazy.
person than you are giving to me. Obviously, they need a whole flight to get to my house.
Right.
Like,
Right.
I cannot go and be like,
Proximity is a real thing for me.
exactly.
It
So,
is.
It's
I
a
I think
mean,
it
real
is.
I don't mind it because I live in Gainesville. I haven't found myself being attracted to anybody in Gainesville for some reason. Everybody lives in Atlanta, but like I can't go ahead and be mad because you're seeing this person 3 times this week and I'm only seeing you once this week or once for the next 2 weeks, because we both work, we both have busy lives. I have a busier schedule, even a more, I don't want to say a busier schedule, but a little bit more challenging schedule
Okay.
because I have young children,
Hmm.
so you have to consider all those things as well before you start feeling like,
So,
oh, this person is getting more than I am getting. Like, have you looked at your situation? And each relationship is different. My needs are not what hers are, and hers are not what mine are. My satisfaction is not the same as hers. I mean, it's perfectly okay. I think it's a dangerous slope when people start comparing, or you did this, you did that, you didn't do it for me, you gave this, you didn't give that to me, that kind of stuff.
so it is about maturity, and I think, like Scott mentioned before, it's like, okay, if you have this and you need to work through it, I think
Right.
sometimes it is, and that's part of the tools to work through it, right? I may naturally feel, man, I want more time, or I wish she would do this with me. I wish this or that. But then I think the mature part is saying, okay, but I'm an hour away, but I have this or that going on, right? And so I think so even though I may want something, I'm not in a position necessarily to have it.
Yeah.
Maybe
Exactly.
if I change my circumstances, I might be
Right.
in a position to have that, but I'm not. So I need to make sure I understand what's going on rather than trying to force them to do something and you're not really ready for what you want or what you're asking them for.
Agreed.
Exactly. And that's what a
Agreed.
lot of people need to work on.
Agreed. I had a
So,
thought.
you're right.
No, I had a thought about that and it just went like that, but it's coming back. It's coming
Well,
back.
and on another thing, I think so. I try to look at kind of the positives and negatives, and I think one of the negatives, if I hear it, something to kind of get my spidey senses going. If I feel like it's a matter of possession, right? I don't want you doing X, Y, Z because they feel a sense of possession.
Mm-hmm.
You spending too much time with this partner, and I feel like this is mine. I don't want you
Right.
to do X, Y, Z. So I feel like that could be a sense of jealousy, and it could go either way. And I feel like sometimes maybe that's why people might act out or whatever the case may be if they're not really fully sold on the poly approach, right? So
I remembered what I was gonna say.
yeah,
Right.
Well-versed poly people, I love when you meet them and there's like an attraction, y'all are talking and say, okay, you want to start dating? Cool, that's cool. Let's see. What does your calendar or your schedule look like?
right.
That question right there is so dope. You know what I mean? It's just so dope because it's like, let me show you where I could fit you into my life. This is really how. Like I got Monday night
Mm-hmm.
uh from like 6 p.m. on to hang with you. And that's and then when you realize, well, I need more, I want more time. I need someone who can spend Tuesday through Saturday nights
Mm-hmm.
or Tuesday through Friday. Like I need, so the thing is you need to know what your needs are, and then you
Exactly.
have to puzzle piece people into your schedule.
I personally go through seasons of needs, right? This week, I may need my partner to just be on me. Like, I need to talk to you all day today, and I need to see you twice or three times this week. And when I see you, I need you to cuddle me. I need you to, like, I need, right? And sometimes it's like, I'm okay just seeing you once this month. I am fine. So, I mean, I always make sure I communicate my needs to my partners. Hey,
Mhm.
I just need a little bit more attention this
Right.
time. And I think that's when partnership is very important because I'm not really going to ask that of just a comment, right? I'm not going to ask that of just a sexual connection.
Mhm.
This is my partner that I'm gonna be with. That, like, I'm gonna ask, hey, I'm feeling kind of needy this week, and I would like it if you could give that to me. If you have the space for it, if you have the time for it, if you have the energy for it, please. This is what I need this week. Can
Hmm.
you help me out? Can you accommodate? And typically, I get what I need. My people take care of me. And then, but again, I'm not always like that. But that doesn't mean that during that time you can't connect with your other partners. This is just what I need in the moment. Can you help me? Yes or
Right.
Mhm.
no? And then we can, get it from there. Because, I mean, again, we are people and we're going to have different needs at different times. that's the beauty of it, that somebody's always there for me to
Right.
give me
Mhm.
what
We have a
what I need.
question. What's the difference between a poly and a Rasta?
Great question.
Well, I'm not a Rasta. Oh, he just said Rasta just don't care. Okay. We
Is
probably
that an
people
answer?
care.
Was
We
that the
love.
answer?
No, well, I guess he's telling us what a Rasta is, because I was like, I don't know what a Rasta is, so I can't
I
make
don't think
the
a Rasta
difference.
just doesn't care. There's no comparison to being polyamorous and being Rastafarians. They're two very different things. Being polyamorous is a love style. Being Rasta or Rastafarian is a way of life, more spiritual, religious vibes
Spiritual.
than
Okay.
anything else.
I learned
But you can
something
be
new.
Rasta and
But can you
poly.
go deeper? Why would that even be a sense of comparison? What is it about
That's what I'm
Rasta
saying.
that?
It's not. They're not really comparable. You can be Rasta and poly, and you can be Rasta and not poly. You
So
know,
Sean
you could
puts in
be
there that he
poly
is
and
a
not be a
Rasta. Can you
Rasta.
kind of
Huh? They
Sean
don't.
Sean says in there that he's a Rasta. I'm just wondering if he can compare, or at least elaborate on what he sees from Rasta and Poly that he feels like may be some similarity.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sean. Let us know what's on your mind.
And then we had a comment, wild and free one. Comparison is the thief of joy. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Thank
Great
you
point.
for that
It is.
comment.
It
Great
is.
point.
Yeah,
It
because
is.
you will totally ignore what you have to just focus on what that other person has when
And you
it's
know what
not
I
even
really love
important to
about what he
you.
said? If
Say
you're
it again.
confident, what I love about what he said is if you're confident in a poly relationship, I think confidence is required, right?
Yeah,
You've got to know what you're bringing to the table. You've got to be confident that this person that I care for, they're with someone else, and being confident about that, knowing
yeah,
that it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, exactly. So,
Absolutely. So, another thought I was thinking earlier was that the name of this is Addicted to Sex or Addicted to Love. And that's really just an expression, really, because it's not really addiction, right?
mhm.
And this is more towards like the monogamous thought, right? In polyamory, polyamorous people have realized mostly that sex is not it's not just the bond between one person and then the two people, and I find that to be um really magnificent, and in thinking that in monogamy has what's called cheating culture, and that happens to be where someone is involved in a relationship and someone steps out and hides it, and it's a secret society situation, and then you find yourself divorcing
Right.
and you find yourself getting quitting, and then of course the shaming of women who are sexually free, but men are never treated that way. So there's like this whole paradigm, because really polyamorous people are just as sexual as monogamous people when you really look at it. You know what I mean? We just say it.
Right.
We're okay with, hey, you can go and enjoy yourself. It's not going to affect me. We have our time, blah blah blah. Monogamous people are in the illusion that, and not all, I'm not going to say the whole tribe, but many monogamous people find that you meet your partner until death do you part. That's going to be the sex peanut butter and jelly sandwich that you eat for the rest of your life. You know what I'm saying? Till you die. And polyamorous people have come to the realization that that peanut butter and jelly sandwich kind of gets dry after a while, and they want to spice it up. They want different sandwiches. You know what I mean? So I think that is one of the benefits of being polyamorous and realizing you don't have to have all the sandwiches now. You can literally eat the one sandwich, but knowing that the conversation is open, or being able to have the conversation. I know a guy who was married, and we would talk, and he his wife was super religious, super Christian, church, Bible study, everything all week. And I guess he was into that at some point. I don't know how they got together, but they have kids and everything. But his sexual appetite was way over what she was able to provide. And in my mind, I was like, y'all are not a match. But here's the thing. Why would we say that? Why would I even say that when they might have a lot of things that gel together, right? But their sexual commitment to each other is not on the same page. And unfortunately, he was cheating on her. And in the worst way, like threesomes and swingers parties, and all kinds of stuff. And I was like, man, if she finds out about your other life, she will probably pass the hell out because, you know, and he's like, I just can't tell her. I just can't tell. I said, she might find some, you know, especially if she's spiritual, she might feel a vibration and she might get a message from God or something. But the fact that you can't have a conversation with your own wife who you guys share a bed and share a bank account and share everything, but you can't share that you have these desires, is sad to me.
It is real though. It is real because you know, you might have a partner that is willing to hear you out, even if they don't share your sentiments, right? And then it's kind of like, all right, okay, too bad, so sad. But you also can have a partner who shames you for even thinking. So, do you think I'm going to talk to that person? Hell no. I will talk to the whole world before I talk to that person about how I'm feeling.
Right.
Because that's just it. Because nobody likes to be shamed. I'm okay with you not agreeing with the way I think, the way I feel. I'm okay with that. But the second that you try to make me feel ashamed,
that manipulation.
Yes. I got nothing to say to you, and we are not gonna be friends to share those kind of things, you know?
Right.
So,
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, Sean came back and said, LOL, my girlfriend be on that BS. That's why I say I'm a Rasta. LOL, I don't have time for that. I'm a free-minded
Sean said he don't have time for it.
Huh?
He said he don't have time for that.
Sean, this is just so confusing anyway. What don't you have time for? And
He's
what
a
is a
free-minded person. He didn't want his girlfriend limiting him.
Yeah.
He needs her to get with the program.
He's probably he don't have time. He probably don't have time for her foolishness, whatever she's on, and wants another partner. And that's part of polyfuckery that we talked about in another show. And I'm just guessing because you're not giving enough information.
Right.
But I'm just guessing that you probably want to have multiple partners. He said, "You got it, brother." I guess he's talking to you, Earl. But anyway,
Sean said he's a man of the people. Let that man be free.
Here's my question to Sean, though. You want many women. How you feel about your women having
multiple partners?
Oh my goodness. That's a setup question. I don't
like. I want to hear how you feel, because it's always like that. You know, a lot of men, they're so ready to have. Oh, I don't have time for that. I'm a free-minded person. I want this. I want that. Okay, that's fine, baby. You can have all that. Just remember, I'm a person as well, and I can have those same feelings. How do you feel about that?
I love that question.
Do you have that same energy? You know?
I love that
Probably
question.
Not.
I would love to know.
I guess no.
You say you don't care.
I don't care.
Okay. All right.
Alrighty. On that note, well, you guys, it is 1 hour in, and we got to get ready for another day.
Listen, I want to thank you too for inviting me here. Like I said, today's my birthday, so this is.
Yes, we forgot to mention that. We got to sing happy birthday to Earl.
Oh, me too. You know, and I'm really gonna like it because you've been drinking that juice, so this is gonna be really good.
Wow!
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
I'm 40 years old.
Yay! Happy birthday, Earl.
Thank y'all so
That
much.
is
But I
awesome.
appreciate y'all inviting me. I love the topic, and I think we should do more of this. I invited some folks because I think polyandry is important. I think we need to open love styles up and be accepting of all love styles, right?
Agreed.
And being able to have those grown up conversations. Me too. I think your question is excellent because I think, and as a Black man, I know many Black men have issues with ego,
Yes.
right? And
Criticism.
right. Our ego won't allow us to say, you know what? If me as a man, I want more than one woman, and you tell me, well, I want more than one man, my ego is now an issue. But if I really care about you and I'm listening to you, I really need to listen to what you're saying. Right.
Well, also, not only the ego, but the community. So a lot
The
of
stigma.
men want to look strong and be, the man. They want to be the man around their other circle. And so you say, oh, well, my lady's with this other guy. And they're like, dude,
right.
What are you doing? What are you
and
about?
If you have the confidence to be like, you know what? And I know it and I'm good with it. Like stand up for your woman, right?
Yeah.
But that's taking confidence to do that. And I just think we need to, as Black men, we probably need to do a little bit better on that.
Yeah.
But working on our ego, getting our ego in check. Because and we know this is the case, just because we want more doesn't mean women don't want more too.
Exactly.
Yes. Right?
Yes.
And so
yes.
That's a whole other topic.
It is.
So
Earl, we can call you back for some more.
Absolutely. And thank you, Sean.
Good.
I appreciate that.
Good.
Thank you.
I would love that. I would love it.
Thank you, Earl, for coming here, especially on your birthday. We appreciate your input, and hopefully this will not be the last time that we see you on the Polypaths.
Thank you all. I appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Remember to follow us on Instagram and subscribe on the Polypamps on YouTube, and follow us individually. We're all business people. We're out there hustling. So just support us by giving us a like, a share. If you like the topic that was discussed here or the previous topics, they're all on YouTube. Share them with your friends, your family, anybody you think can benefit from our information. Please help us grow.
Just let us know.
Yes, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Word. See y'all.
Have a good night.
Ladies.
Thanks. Bye.
Good night.